and you're listening to Communities Live on Sheffield Live Radio 93.2 FM with me, Susie Casson and T-Boy, and we're joined in the studio by Dave Pickersgill, who is Heritage Officer for Sheffield Campaign for Real Ale. Welcome, Dave. So it's been claimed recently that Sheffield might be the beer capital of the UK. Why do you think we have such a rich heritage in terms of pubs?
Well, I don't think Sheffield might be the beer capital of the UK. It is the beer capital of the UK and hence the beer capital of the world. If you'd start looking at Sheffield in terms of pubs and beer, we do an annual beer census, count the number of beers available on one day. Last September we got 450. The next nearest to any city in the UK was 210. We're doing that again in June, so we changed the time of the year, but 450 beers on a random Saturday in September is incredible, really. Also, if you start looking at the number of breweries in Sheffield and the Sheffield City region, Sheffield's got 23 breweries at the moment. 23. 30 years ago we had 3, Stones, Wards and Whitbread. 23 breweries, that's one brewery for every 24,000 people. London has got one brewery for every 112,000 people, so therefore Sheffield is 4 times better than London. And of course we have the best pubs.
So can you tell us a little about Sheffield's heritage pubs?
Well, Sheffield, again, interestingly, you think of heritage, you think of York, for example. York has got 13 pubs on the CAMRA, Campaign for Real Ale pubs heritage list. Leeds has got 13. Sheffield's now got 20. And that number will increase in the next few months as the research gets done. Sheffield's got 3 on the national inventory. Locally to here, Sheffield Tap, just around the corner at the train station. It's got, I suppose, effortless Edwardian elegance is the best way of putting it. Was the first class restaurant. It's now world renowned as one of the best beer pubs, heritage pubs in the world. Half a mile in that direction towards the university from here, you've got the Bath, Backstreet Splendour, redone by Incoop in the 1920s. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, that is again a fine example of nationally noted pub architecture, and one just I'll throw at you, which again, heritage pubs, not necessarily the Victorian gin palaces or the Edwardian splendour. Sportsman at Hackenthorpe, which people go, what? The Sportsman at Hackenthorpe, I'll just say that one again. If you look at that, it is totally unspoiled. We've looked at the original plans from the late 1950s. That pub has not changed since it was built. It is on the national inventory simply because of that. It was the last pub built by Worksman Retford Brewery, but was taken over by tenants. So they're the 3 pubs that are on the national inventory. We've got another 17 of regional importance. I won't even attempt to list them, listing 17 pubs that take the whole of this interview. But they vary across the city. The White Lion in Healy, Grapes in the town centre. Recently on the national inventory we've got the Fat Cat, which most people will know, in Kelham Island. Traveller's Rest in Newtybridge. A couple in Stocksbridge, the Friendship and the Silver Fox has been put up for the national inventory. Again, Sheffield has got lots of pubs of national and possibly international importance. So we've got the best beers, the best breweries and the best pubs.
And the best people.
Well, of course, that goes without saying.
I was going to ask you, Dave, what is beer tourism?
Oh, beer tourism. It's what lots of people do every day of their lives. If you go to Sheffield Station and did a census, I reckon you would find certainly 3 figures every day of people who change trains at Sheffield and just happen to wander into the Rutland or the Sheffield Tap or both. That's beer tourism on a very simple level. Same thing happens in Derby, but I won't mention that. But beer tourism on a larger level is an organised coach party coming to, say, Sheffield for the day, getting dropped off at the station or getting dropped off in Kelham Island. We'll pick you up here in 4 hours. Here's a map. Off you go. That happens every day, and certainly every weekend. Beer tourism, we think, having sort of looked into some figures, we think beer tourism in Sheffield is worth more to the local economy than the World Snooker Competition.
Wow.
That only lasts 2 weeks. Beer tourism lasts 52.
The Gardener's Rest in Neaps End is one of these lovely preserved pubs, isn't it? And it was recently bought by the community. Well,
as far as I understand, Pat and Eddie, who've been running the Gardener's Rest for a number of years, they had a few problems with the Sheffield floods in 2007, and it was closed for a couple of years, but reopened and have come back, and I believe they're back in the National Good Beer Guide for 2018, which is great. They're not as young as they used to be, so they've basically organised a community buyout, which, as I understand it, is going very well, and legalese permitting, it'll all go through forward, and it will be owned by the local community. One other local example of that's the Anglers Rest in Bamford, The owners wish to sell it and change it into, I believe, housing. The local community did a successful asset community value application. It's been followed by a community buyout. It's been followed by a place in the good beer guide. It's also got the local post office and a cafe. That is a success story of another community buyout. Whether there'll be more in Sheffield, I mean, it depends. The plough at Cross Pool, there is a possibility of that. It may happen, it may not happen. I think there's a lot of discussion going on at the moment behind the scenes about the plough. We don't know the detail. I mean, the details shouldn't really be made public, but give that a year's and I think that pub will be thriving again. Yeah.
So CAMRA does a lot of valuable work helping preserve Sheffield heritage pubs. Before we talk about a few of them individually, can you remind us what an asset of community value?
Yeah. ACV, Asset of Community Value, it was part of the 2011 Localism Act produced by I think it was the coalition government at that time, to encourage and empower communities to protect assets to matter to them, including public houses. The government at the time and their since comments seem to be encouraging this. Across nationwide, Aylesbury and Vale, which is the council down south somewhere, Aylesbury and Vale have got over 150 pubs with ACV status. Nottingham have got over 40. Otley has got every pub. Sheffield at the moment has got 8. Which seems slightly wrong to us. We think Sheffield City Council is, if you like, upping the bar for ACV applications, making it a lot harder than it should be, putting obstacles in people's way, making it more difficult, asking for information that the legislation doesn't specify, making comments in their rejection statements, which again, you look at the legislation, you think they shouldn't be saying that, it's irrelevant. You apply for ACV status for a pub, it is actually totally irrelevant if there's no pub next door. But that sort of statement should not appear in the legal stuff from the council. So ACV applications, it's a way of not protecting, but working towards protecting a pub or some other asset that is of value to the community. Sheffield City Council, we don't think have taken this on as they should or could. We've written to them nationally from CAMRA HQ. In fact, we've got a meeting with the relevant councillor week after next. Maybe they'll change their attitude. I'm not quite sure. No promises.
The University Arms is quite a well-known pub. Do you know what's happening with that?
The University Arms, it was on the University Arms. Sheffield University put out a projected campus master plan a couple of years ago. One of the options for that area was that the University Arms, the ex-vicarage from St George's, the ex-staff club, would be flattened and replaced by a tower block. At the time, there was quite a large petition from students arguing against this. The responses from the master plan, the most comment on the responses, which is available on the internet, were saying don't destroy the University Arms. We've attempted to get ACV status, asset community value status. Sheffield University basically have responded negatively. Last time we applied, it was a 6-page letter from Vincent Masons. This time it was 9 pages. Vincent Masons are an internationally recognised legal company, one of the 20 biggest legal companies in the world. We responded to the points. We should have had a decision from Sheffield City Council on the 17th of February, which I think is 2.5 weeks ago. No decision has been made as yet. So at the moment, put it simply, an ACV application has been put in. The university seemed to want to knock it down, and that's where we are.
And I also noticed Carbrook Hall's been in the news recently.
Carbrook Hall is, Carbrook Hall. It's on the CAMRA Region of Entry Pub Interiors. It's also Grade 2 star listed. Grade 2 star, it's worth just thinking about for a second. Listed buildings are Grade 1, Grade 2 star or Grade 2. Okay, the vast majority are Grade 2. 93% of listed buildings are Grade 2. Therefore, Carbrook Hall is in the top 7% of listed buildings in the UK. It's Grade 2 star. It's been sold by Punch Taverns to a company called West Street Leisure, who run Barn Beyond on West Street. We're not quite sure they actually understand what Grade 2 star listed means. An ACV application went in for it about a fortnight ago. It was actually a joint application from Sheffield District CAMRA and Sheaf Valley Heritage Group. First joint application we put in. So Carbrook Hall, at the moment, Punch Taverns have sold it. ACV application has gone in, a collaborative application, and it's with the council to make a decision on the ACV. The other pub at the moment that's got an ACV application in is the Cherry Tree on Cotton Hall Road. The original application was turned down. Carlton Earl Community Group have resubmitted the ACV application. The co-op putting a planning application to turn it into a shop. No decision's been made on that. So that one's sitting there. ACV application in, planning application in, and we'll see where that one goes.
Okay. Great to hear. We've got such a rich heritage at pubs and that people are working so hard to keep that, and CAMRA's a big part of that.
We do our best.
So how can people find out about joining CAMRA?
The easiest thing to do is put Sheffield CAMRA into a search engine and you'll go straight to our website. You can download our monthly magazine, Beer Matters. The new edition actually comes out about 20 minutes ago. So that should be finding its way into pubs across Sheffield in the next few days. As an easy way in, we've got Steel City Beer Festival 43 at Calamar Industrial Museum in October. We're always looking for volunteers. Serve some beer, drink some beer.